Welcome everyone, Joe with ECRM, and I have with me Olga Preston, who's with Fair Trade USA, and she gave a presentation yesterday during our coffee, tea, and cocoa session where she talked about sustainability and consumers and trends and issues all around that. So Olga, thanks for joining us. And to start off, let's talk about the consumer and sustainability and fair trade. So why is it important to consumers?
Thank you, Joe. Yes, consumers nowadays value sustainability, but they also value taste, and they want to have a positive experience when they drink their favorite beverages and coffee, tea, and cocoa. Important drivers are health and wellness. That's on the rise. We see more and more on the shelves coffee options that have adaptogens that are good for you, mixes with blends like mushrooms, lion's mane, herbs, more coffee blends that are good for you in the market. The same goes for coffee, for tea and cocoa. It's important also convenience, that's another factor, customization. We see more and more coffee labs, people wanting to have the Starbucks that experience at home. It's important for them. Sustainability comes ingrained in all of this. Sustainability is here to stay. I like to say that sustainability is not a trend, but it needs to be here forever. Why it's important? Because consumers value it. 86% of consumers in the post-pandemic market want and are looking for more sustainable products. 3-in-1, considering switching brands to value those that have sustainable origins, like that, but those that can tell our story. Where does my coffee, where does my tea come from? They value brands that can provide a certification, not just say we're sustainable. They value brands that provide a certification to ensure that they care about workers, the environment, and the planet. Some issues that we see nowadays, what's happening is that in the coffee, tea, and cocoa sector, where do they come from? The countries that make those drinks that we love are mostly based in the equatorial region of the world. Countries with high altitude and tropical climates. We're talking about Africa, South America. Most coffee and tea comes from there. There's some issues in the production of these drinks that we love. For example, in the case of coffee, the price is not a constant. It's very volatile.
Is that from country to country?
There's something that we call the C price. There's like a market price. When the price falls below the market price, workers cannot assure that they can take care of their family, sustainability. Okay. So there's some certifications like Fair Trade that assures them, provides them a minimum price.
So this way they know that, when they're purchasing this coffee or this tea or cocoa, that up the chain, up in the producer side, they're getting well taken care of.
Yes, it assures that they have like a minimum price so they can continue taking care of their families. That's one factor in coffee. Another issue is in the case of cocoa, there's plenty of child labor still happening in the world. 2/3 of the world cocoa comes from farms in West Africa, where there could still be child labor, children working in farms. And another key issue is that it's extreme. The poverty is extreme in those regions, with farmers making less than $1 a day for their production. So what certifications do is they can emphasize either in the social aspect, like taking care of the workers, ensuring that the standards provide them good working conditions. Certifications also ensure that the environment is properly taken care of. Issues like deforestation are taken care of.
Yeah.
And the other component that I just mentioned is the minimum price. And the key differentiator of the certification of Fair Trade Certified, certification from a nonprofit called Fair Trade USA, is that there's a premium, meaning a percentage of each purchase of a product that carries the fair trade certified seal, returns goes back to the producers at origin countries. Retailers and brands make that choice. For example, when a retailer wants to source a coffee product, a tea product for their own brand, for the private label, they keep working with their normal supplier, like the brewing company in the US. And these companies work at the same time with farms, being in countries like Peru, Honduras, or Africa, where they, at the request of the retailer or the brand, they can certify those farms so they can ensure living conditions for their work, for the workers. They can ensure that they get a minimum price, and most importantly, they can ensure that money returns back to them.
Okay. And that's a question for that, because there's something you talked about yesterday with the money part. Can you talk a little bit about how, right, from the purchase, that money ends up being used for like good things, right? There's the Fair Trade Committee or something.
Yeah.
How does that all work?
Yes. When a farm is certified, the co-ops, the workers, get organized and form a committee. It's called the Fair Trade Committee. Every member of the committee has a vote. They vote and they make a needs assessment, and they vote what is most important, what are the most important needs for that community. For example, a community could need like a medical facility, or they could need a school for kids or adults as well, or they could need a laundry facility or even a soccer field. I mentioned the soccer field because, for example, a community in Mexico, for them was super important to have an outlet for the young and not so young also, to be able to engage that energy and be happy, and for families to get together on weekends. So each community, it's organized, and the Fair Trade Committee, in the Fair Trade Committee, everybody votes, and then they decide where to invest those funds, those premium funds. Retailers and brands will get annually a report, which we call the impact report, telling them where those funds went. For example, let's say retailer X bought in a year so many pounds of Fair Trade certified coffee and so many pounds of Fair Trade certified cocoa and produce or seafood. We certify other products other than coffee, tea, and cocoa as well. So retailer puts together all their Fair Trade certified purchases, and their suppliers report to us. So we provide every year an annual impact report, and the report quantifies in dollars the amount that went to the communities.
Okay.
And not only the amount, but we also report stories. Like, for example, so many X dollars went to this community in El Salvador or in Africa, in West Africa, and they get a story, and they integrate these stories to their sustainability reports, to ESG reports, and then consumers alike find products that integrate with their values.
Okay, they know where their money's going. It's like,
Exactly.
okay, this is the kind of thing, help that I want to give to these communities, and by purchasing these products, I know that they're making a soccer field. I know they're building wells, they're building schools, something like that. Okay.
Yes, and so the way the companies report this is on their annual reports, and as well in store. It's important to communicate to consumers in the store at the point of purchase what the product does. So we also work, our marketing team works jointly with the marketing teams of brands and retailers to create stories and activations and drive consumer engagements towards purchases that align with consumers' values, like signage in store, QR codes in the product, where you can scan a code and you can actually see who is behind the product that you are having, and that helps for consumers to choose products that drive value to everyone in the supply chain.
Gotcha.